Certainly a heartbreaking morning, Marie, in Minneapolis. Minneapolis's police chief calls this deliberate, cowardly, and the ultimate act of cruelty. Police and other officials in Minneapolis just held, as you mentioned, that briefing about the shooting. The two children killed were 8 and 10 years old. More than a dozen other children have been injured. And we know police and first responders were called to Annunciation Church, which is attached to a pre-K to 8th grade school, just a few hours ago, about 8:30 this morning, for a report of a shooting. A massive response followed, and someone nearby at the time heard more than a dozen shots.
I have friends that know people who have been shot. I know what gunfire sounds like, and I could tell. I was shocked. I said, "There's no way that could be gunfire." There was so much of it, so it was sporadic. So it was a semi-automatic. It seemed like a rifle. It certainly didn't sound like a handgun.
Children, some of them in tears, could be then seen leaving the school and the church with parents and other adults. At the same time, clearly distraught adults began arriving to the scene, some of them escorted by police officers. Now, officials say that the students were attending Mass when the shooter opened fire from outside the church while students were attending that service. The police chief says the two students who were killed were hit as they sat in the pews. Chief Brian O'Hara also says the shooter was armed with a rifle, shotgun, and a pistol. Police arrived at the scene minutes after the first 911 call, and the shooter was reported dead about an hour later. Sources say it was from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officials just confirming that he did take his own life. Now, the mayor of Minneapolis clearly shaken by this tragedy.
There are no words that can capture the horror and the evil of this unspeakable act. Children are dead. There are families that have a deceased child. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
Now, this obviously still a very active investigation. Police and the FBI are involved. They have not yet identified the shooter, but believe he was 20 years old. Now, that has yet to be confirmed. They say he was wearing black clothing and cargo pants. They're also searching a car believed to belong to the suspect. Now, according to published reports, there are about 300 students who attend Annunciation School. In addition to the two children killed, 17 other people, as we've mentioned, were injured. 14 of those are children. 3 are adults. Governor Tim Walz this morning calling this a horrific act of violence. Marie.